time for the ride home in ENC.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
This is your 5 o'clock drive with Patrick Johnson.
Holy mackerel!
More news, more interviews, more ECU stories than you can shake a stick at. Hey, stop shaking that stick. This is the Patrick Johnson Show.
Pirates win! Pirates win!
On 94.3 The Game.
All right, at last check, another Pirate in, Brad Pruitt. And Brad Pruitt entering the portal. I guess no surprise. May factor in some other decisions by others prominently, perhaps. But Brad Pruitt in there. Cliff Godwin tweeting out earlier, our system is so broken, all caps, broken, exclamation point. We have coaches at P4 schools texting our players directly who are not in the portal, and we have proof. So, look, this is going on everywhere. Kudos to Cliff Godwin for at least pointing it out on in the Twitter sphere on X. I understand there may be covert ways, cloak and dagger ways that things are being reached out to, or players are being reached out to, a specific player or two out there. But this has been kind of a rocky goings on. I'd asked Coach Godwin, could he come on with us next week? And I don't think we're going to be able to get him because he's just dealing with portal stuff right now, and he really won't know his schedule for next week until next week. So hope we'll get him on. We'll see. Maybe we'll get our crack at him. Maybe not. I'm sure Stephen will. Philip the Rep Pilkington is here today. Mark Miller's going to be with us in a little bit. Speaking of ECU baseball, he's going to recant a couple of stories from his time in Conway last week, Conway, South Carolina, where he went to the regional with his two sons. So good on Miller. And we'll do a little Hold My Beer with him. We're going to talk to Daron Vaught coming up in a little bit as well. Tomorrow, it will be the beginning of the Chapel Hill Regional, so we'll get a primer on that. We'll also get a primer on the thoughts of Duke and Murray State, and get his thoughts on Coastal at Auburn, and maybe some ECU talk with Daron as well. But we'll talk some college baseball with Daron Vaught coming up in a little bit. Pilk, are you there? Or are you? I'm a little under the weather. I'm sick as a dog, and you're. I guess you just laid it out on the field for the IGO show today. So
no, I was letting you go.
You probably don't have anything left in the tank for the old P-Man's program.
Oh, I got plenty left in the tank.
I know where we rank in the hierarchy, but I'm going to need to lean on you a little bit today because I'm playing hurt.
Well, you're playing hurt, but you don't look hurt, Patrick. I love the hair. Elvis Presley-esque right there with the nice flow back, but it doesn't look like there's any product in it, despite I'm sure you have some in there. But, sometimes when you spike the hair, the product makes it look wet and sticking together. I mean, that looks good. How do you get it to do that? You might have to talk to
what
my
is
hair
it,
guy.
a Ponda something or other?
Yeah.
Pompadour or something? I don't know, Pilk. I think it's I stuck my finger in an electric socket. And it just popped up.
So
like
no wonder you don't feel good. You got electrocuted. I mean, dang it, Patrick.
That's what it is.
You should have learned from Benjamin Franklin. You don't get electrocuted.
Look, and you and I have a little bit of insight into what is, at least we have been told by sources we trust, what is kind of going on in this deal. And I am a little surprised Coach Godwin tweeted it. In a way, I'm not. If these kind of covert methods are being used, it's going to be a little hard to prove the origin of where the messaging is coming from. But I mean, if the schools that are involved, that I've heard are involved, are that brazen, one, nothing's going to happen to them anyway, unfortunately. Number two, they're aware that there are the receipts, but no school is that dumb. Even if you don't know, even if you know nothing realistically is going to happen to you, you don't want to be the one place that gets caught, gets busted on this thing. So there's a lot of back channel things that are going on out of thrilling, action movies, out of drama action movies is how you could compare the communique. So there.
Could you blame the schools, though, Patrick? Because, like you hit on the key phrase there that nothing's going to happen. And I think that's the key in all of this. And when I say nothing's going to happen, I'm not blaming Cliff Godwin saying he's not going to turn them in. He probably is. Heck, we've turned in teams for tampering with football players before. But these spineless NCAA who couldn't police a routine four-way stop if all the stop signs got knocked down by a tornado, sure as heck isn't going to police this. And if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. I can't even blame the teams. I mean, they're going to get away with it. Why wouldn't you do it?
Well, yeah. And then they'll continue to do it. But, and I thought Brian Murphy, he retweeted the thing and then had a reply to it. There's a lot of schools in the lower major category who probably feel the same way about the mid-majors.
Sure.
UNCW poached a lot of guys from lower major conferences for basketball.
They poached the all-conference team from their own conference.
Well, that's true, too.
What time was it this year? The roster was like everybody had been on all 8 or 7 of their 8 guys who played had been on like a different CAA team the year before and were at least second team all-conference. Something crazy like that. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was something like that.
Sure. But you get what's going on. I mean, it's an epidemic in all realms. And if you're a kid that is at we hear about the high schoolers not getting opportunities. If you do get an opportunity, and let's say it's at a lower major, your idea is, okay, I'm going to perform, and then maybe I could take the next level up mid-major and maybe even get a high major type of deal. Interesting topic, because when you talk NIL and you talk that kind of money that's being put out there, there was the viral video that John Gruden posted. Again, John Gruden originated the video. Other people are taking it and slapping their logo on it and claiming it's like they shot it of John Gruden. Pilk half listening, smiling a little bit because he knows what I'm talking about.
I am. That's what I'm saying. But I was half listening, so I was texting Daron to let him know that he was on good. And Darren's our next guest, and Darren's more important than me, so,
So this is a convo between John Gruden and the Commissioner Tim Pernetti of the American. Pernetti and I guess the AAC sent Gruden a care package of a bunch of stuff. It was a pretty cool Twitter video. I guess these other schools or even pro programs are into this thing now where they send Gruden, swag, and he opens up he does a reveal. You ever see the girls on the reels that, look, I just got my order from Shane, and I'm going to open it and show you everything that's on it. It might tell you some of my reel viewing habits.
Yeah, I was about to say, I've heard of these things, but I'll be honest with you, the only one I've ever watched anything like it was the full John Gruden video where he complimented Blake Harrell and said that Jeff Blake kicked his butt.
This has become the thing where people look at this and they unveil whatever they order kind of thing.
You're right, so, it is, but it's not watched by grown men. It's watched by I
watched the Gruden thing.
Yeah, but that's fine. That was directed towards men who watch sports. The other stuff you're watching is directed towards sorority girls.
No, I'm pretty sure men are watching that, Pilkington. Don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure red-blooded American males are watching some of that. Yeah. All right. So I guess Pernetti sat down with a conversation with Gruden, and Tim Pernetti thinks that a salary cap of some way, shape, or form will be employed in college athletics.
Let me ask you this about the salary cap. In the NFL, we had a salary cap.
Yeah.
And there were times as a head coach, I would privately bitch about, well, they signed a guy, they gave the guy $100 million. We didn't have $100 million.
Right.
We lost this guy. Hell, I didn't want to lose the guy. We don't have the money to keep the guy. The American Athletic Conference, if anybody has a bitch, it's a lot of the coaches that are in your league. Because a lot of these guys, they choose to leave Tulane. Mm-hmm. They choose to leave Tulsa. They choose to leave Charlotte, USF, to go play in the SEC for more money. Mm-hmm. Isn't there a salary cap on the horizon where we all have the same amount of money to pay players? It just sounds like a bunch of bullshit. It sounds like insanity to me.
Yeah, it is. And if we're going to continue to compensate student athletes, like I'm with you. I think student athletes, given, like when I was in college, we weren't talking about whose jersey was getting sold and should we get paid. Like, we were happy to have the experience, but the industry wasn't a multi-billion-dollar industry generating that kind of revenue. So as we go down this path, the House settlement's a good example. It's going to allow schools to directly revenue share with their student athletes up to a cap, which is going to be in the first year, $20.5 million. And people say, okay, great, there's a cap. But you have collectives and other groups that are generating NIL income. So John Gruden comes to an American school and we're going to revenue share with him. And if we're at the cap, we don't have any more money for him, we can have our collective maybe bring some money in over the top. So it's a cap and it's not a cap. In the future, I think we need to just continue to create more structure around it. This is a step in the right direction, but it's not the final step. Like, I'm not convinced this will solve all the industry's problems, but I think it is a step in the right direction.
What do you think, Pil?
I mean, I think he's onto something. I do think the NCAA will step in and create the cap when it comes to revenue sharing. The tough thing is going to be is the athletes are going to say, well, we're bringing in more money to the to the university that we're being given, so we're going to sue the NCAA. And guess what? They're probably going to win. And then, like Pernetti said, there's the collectives are not going away.
The collectives aren't going anywhere. I think that will continue to be the Wild West. I think what you're going to have to do is it's going to have to take. Things are going to have to be collectively bargained. But there are so many different agendas with the individual conferences and then within many of the schools of the individual conferences. Can you get everybody on the same page?
And then
it may even have to start.
Football schools think differently than football schools, and
but even football schools in the same conference think differently.
Yeah,
you look no further than the coast-to-coast ACC. I mean, there's a lot of different agendas in there. The All-Coast Conference, a lot of agendas in there. Even in the SEC, there are some different agendas, but they are more aligned. When you're getting that kind of money, you just shut up. Big Ten, definitely different agendas, but again, a little more aligned, even though those West Coast schools aren't real thrilled about their current position where they're sitting. But they're not Washington State, nor are they Oregon State. All right, Daron Vaught. Let's take a look at old Daron. He's joining us on the show next, if you're with us on the video feed. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Daron Vaught, looking as handsome as ever. All right, our pal Daron Vaught will join us on the other side. We still got Mark Miller to come as well. So no concert on the Common tonight. It has been canceled due to the weather, but rescheduled with landslide next Thursday, the 12th. So it'll be at 6 o'clock at the Town Common in Greenville. Our IBX Media concert on the Common with Landslide and the music of Fleetwood Mac. All right. Be back with Daron Vaught, talking baseball with him and more after this.
The team of Flatlands Jessup is working overtime to help ensure that Eastern North Carolinians like you get the health insurance help you need this open enrollment period. New legislation passed meaning more people than ever qualify for affordable coverage. Let us help you today.
Are you ready to tackle those yard and garden projects? Come by East Carolina Tractor and Fleet, your local Coyote dealer, and check out their great selection of residential and commercial Coyote tractors. From zero-turn mowers to compact tractors to skid steer loaders, they've got you covered. Some with 0% financing for qualified buyers. Stop by your hometown Coyote dealer, East Carolina Tractor and Fleet, across from the Pitt County Fairgrounds or online at ectfleet.com. East Carolina Tractor and Fleet. We dig dirt.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville. Two real burgers, better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best.
Everybody loves burgers.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
Tired of the 1-800 numbers advertising Medicare products? Flatlands Jessup has 6 offices all throughout eastern North Carolina. Get face-to-face help from our local award-winning licensed team. Stop by today. Flatlands Jessup, your whole world covered.
Listen up. He's talking now.
Sorry, thought we were vibing.
The Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Great to have Daron Vaught on the program. Daron, the play-by-play voice for ECU basketball on the ECU Sports Network, also a frequent commentator on ESPN Plus and ACC Network Extra. And Daron, like me, doesn't know what to do with himself this week because, at least for me, there's no games to do. So I'm trying to get my schedule down for the rest of the summer, get my pattern, Daron. Now, you're going to probably do more than I'm going to do this summer because you're so in demand. But for me, this has been a week with not getting ready for a game, and I really don't know what to do with myself.
You know, we are going to be treading in similar waters this summer. I, for the first time in a long time, have kind of a wide open couple of months here.
Really?
So I, like you, have been trying to figure out what I'm going to do with myself until football starts. That's really what this week has been. And of course, like I'm going to be locked in on super regionals and Omaha, yet remotely. But it's going to be an interesting couple of months here. I'm not used to this, so maybe I'll offline. I'll get some advice from you.
You just don't fall in any bad habits, or do.
Yeah.
But if you do, make sure they're short-lived. That would be the advice. You know, it's all right to live a little, I suppose. All right, Daron. Let's start with Tim Pernetti. You tread in these American waters. I thought his comments about inevitably capping this money somehow is certainly wise. I just don't know where you begin because there's collective bargaining issues that would have to take hold. I don't think the NCAA wants any part of that. They certainly don't want any more part of court battles, despite the fact they're all lawyers there in Indianapolis. But I don't see how you can put a cap on any of these collectives.
I think we are several steps away from that. Like you said, a collective bargaining agreement would need to be in place, or something like a CBA would need to be in place, which also means a union for players would need to be in place. I think both are things that largely the college sports world is resistant to for a number of reasons. And it's one thing to be actively resistant. It's another thing to be resistant because of what is already in place, right? You would have to shatter so many foundational things. Granted, it is not a strong foundation, so I assume these would be pretty easily shattered. But people don't really receive that very well, right? Like things have to be changed. So I like the idea, and it would certainly promote fairness and an even field for these sorts of things. NIL and the House settlement obviously stands to change things. It just feels like the goalpost is moving way too frequently for this to be an implementation anytime soon, right?
Too many agendas. That's the problem. And, you know, in the NFL, there are, 30, 32, whatever it is, agendas. But at the end of the day, they're controlled by those 30-some-odd individuals. Whereas college, okay, the commissioners are the ones with the power, but only a few select commissioners. I mean, this whole thing is and then you have agendas within the conferences. In other words, you cannot get Elon and even UNC Greensboro, two different sets of agendas. Yeah. And they're separated by, ever how many miles. And you could argue they're kind of in the same boat as far as the waters they tread in. So it's just.
But they want different things, like you're saying. They all want different things out of
Well, they all want money. At the end of the day, everybody wants money. They just have a different way of how they want to get to it.
Well, and I'm even thinking in terms of ACC versus like SEC. Jim Phillips has been very outspoken about maintaining the student athlete dynamic, and like that's important to them. Whereas the SEC, I think, would be fine breaking away from
they don't give
even the universities like tomorrow and be okay with largely accepting that they're minor league sports. And that's, two conferences that, as we're talking about college baseball, are 1 and 2, and it's inarguable. And in other sports, they're 2 of the top 3 or 4 in every sport. So even like you said, the smaller schools, the smaller athletic programs that are similar have very different things in mind with what they want out of this. The same goes for way up at the top.
Daron Vaught joining us here on the Patrick Johnson Show. I got to move along off of this. We could talk about this another time. I wanted to talk to you about the regionals or the super regionals. And UNC starts play tomorrow against Arizona. They'll be on at noon as they start things in Chapel Hill. And Jason Knapp has been outstanding. They've got a couple guys offensively who have been hot. They bring in Arizona, who won out in Oregon. So how do you see this matchup going in the Super? And are the Tar Heels, I don't know if you say prohibitive favorite, or are they a legit favorite to win the whole thing?
North Carolina in the past 2 months, I'll say, has become a legitimate national championship contender. The pitching is something we knew would play well. Maybe not in the way that it's panned out. You mentioned Jake Knapp. He's their ace. Maybe not expected because their Saturday guy or their number 2 starter, Jason DeCaro, was their ace as for much of last season, a 17-year-old on their way to Omaha. Knapp missed all of last year with Tommy John. He's back and is like an All-American. It's like not just ACC Pitcher of the Year. He has been, aside from a couple of names, maybe. Liam Doyle was announced of Tennessee as a Golden Spikes Award finalist. That might be the only exception. Jake Knapp's been the best pitcher in the country. But the lineup is what makes them as dangerous as they are right now. And Gavin Gallagher won the Chapel Hill Regional Most Outstanding Player, second year in a row. He's gone galactic at the regional level. The offense clicking is what makes them as good. I see this as a pretty good matchup for them. And the caveat there is I think everything's going to be a pretty good matchup for them, the way that they're playing currently. But Arizona has some pitching, but they're going to need to affect North Carolina's and outscore the Tar Heels. They're going to need North Carolina to experience one of those lulls that they had earlier in the season offensively in order to win this series, I think, especially with the Tar Heels being the host team. It stacks up pretty well for North Carolina to get back to Omaha.
Duke has caught a break winning down in Athens, and then they get Murray State at home. But they're going to be without a couple of players. A.J. Garcia was ejected because of the Sellies, so he will miss the first game. I think Ben Miller is the player who's been a little banged up. Maybe didn't play in the last game or two in Athens. But here's what's interesting about Duke. Their offense, and it does it not in the most conventional way. I mean, they score a lot of runs. They hit home runs. But they don't strike out a ton, and they get guys on base. So, that there would seem to be a recipe for success. Do the Blue Devils have enough, even without everybody completely available for at least the first game, to get by Murray State, who's got to be – you talk about house money. They're playing with absolute house money, or the Racers.
Yeah, this is a favorable matchup for the Blue Devils. I am interested sort of in that psychology of it because Murray State as a 4 seed is obviously like they have nothing to lose. Duke kind of feels similar with the season that they've had and with them just sort of playing their way and everybody around them playing their way into Jack Coombs Field is going to host postseason play for the first time ever. Like, this is a Duke program that has won regionals 4 of the last 7 years. So It's over a span of 8 years. So 4 of the last 7 seasons, because of course there was no postseason in 2020. But they've done none of that at home. They haven't hosted one of those regionals. It's going to be interesting because I think Duke is going to have a similar, we don't have anything to lose, we're playing with house money feeling. So to compare the two, especially now that Duke is going to be the odds-on favorite, there's pressure that comes with that. Murray State, maybe there's a realization of what this is now. When you're in a regional and you're playing well, you're just kind of rolling. They've had a few days to sit on it and maybe become a little more self-aware of the situation. But to your question, Gracia, Duke did appeal the NCAA decision to suspend him for another game. Best I know, they have not heard anything about that.
Right.
But my understanding is Ben Miller is good to go, barring any setbacks, and should be in the lineup for game 1. With that being said, they can miss Gracia for a game and still win this series pretty handily. I just think they have way more pitching depth. For Murray State, they've got 2 horses that they're going to rely on. They're starters in games 1 and 2. And if Duke can get to either or both of those guys pretty early, it's going to be a really steep uphill climb for the Racers.
All right. I don't want to handcuff you too much, but about 30 seconds. Coastal eliminates ECU. Can Coastal shock Auburn?
I like the Chants a lot. And it's got mostly to do with their pitching, which is full of guys who have big league stuff. They're deep. They've got a ton of arms they can throw at you from different angles and different sides in the bullpen. And they've got enough offensively. A big-time MLB draft prospect is their switch-hitting catcher, Caden Bodine. He's very capable as a hitter. Blake Barthol is another solid hitter for them. They just have guys who can produce top to bottom of the lineup. I like the Chants a lot. Auburn's really, really, really good, but I do like Coastal in this series.
As you know, Daron, when you rely on your producer in the broadcasting industry, and I was relying on Pilk's math, and it was wrong. So we have a couple more minutes here. So I'm going to ask you. Yes, I'm going to ask you a couple.
I'm sure I've hosed Daron a few times on math. I'm sure he's no stranger to this.
Tim Walter. You know, a lot's been made of Kevin O'Sullivan this week, but you actually know Tim Walter pretty well. He got caught saying something. I don't know the guy at all. I don't know if that's kind of the way he talks or that's the mentality. Obviously, you could say heat of the moment, but not a good look for sure. He issued an apology. Tim Walter. What was your reaction to the whole situation?
Disappointed. It's not a guy I would expect to use that sort of language, just sort of flippantly, nonchalantly, if you will. It's really disappointing, but also at the same time, I'm not going to pretend that that's not the sort of thing that is uttered a lot in college baseball circles. And as somebody who advocates for the sport and likes to think of myself as maybe something of a steward for the sport, it's gotta be better about being welcoming. And look, there's an old Louis C.K. bit, and he's controversial, so maybe bringing it up is controversial about the word used. And Tom Walter did not use the word in a way that implies its actual meaning. It was a frustrated expletive. It doesn't make it right, but I think it does sort of create some nuance with the way we should look at it. Again, it should not be used at all. And I respect Tom for coming out and apologizing and owning up to it. And of course, there is the obvious conversation that can be had about that. Like, would he be apologizing if he didn't get caught on video? I mean, the answer is no. We're all realistic about that. I just think it's disappointing. It's disappointing, and that's I guess the moral of the story.
Yeah. Again, heat of the moment. You don't want anybody to use that word. There's, as you say, some context. Unlike O'Sullivan, who was just a raging lunatic.
He was just blatantly awful to everyone in a 6-foot radius of him at that moment, I guess. They're different. It doesn't make one more okay, but they're very different.
No. But Sullivan, I mean, you have to be aware of what you're doing to show your ass like that. I mean, that's man. All right. Hey, Daron, good stuff. Enjoy your summer, Daron. Enjoy your summer of freedom.
Somehow I will, and I will figure out a way to do that. So appreciate the time.
We'll talk to you soon. We'll get up with you over the summer at some point. Be good to have you back on. Enjoyed seeing Daron Vaught. All right, Daron Vaught with us. Great to have him. All right, here is Pilk as we get ready to play Hold My Beer with Mark Miller. Philip the Ref Pilkington with the sports update and Pirate Report.
Thank you, P-Man. Starting in Pirate Athletics, another new addition to the portal today is pitcher Brad Pruitt. He started 6 games in a Pirate uniform and played in 28 with a 5.28 ERA. And he is technically draft eligible despite only being a sophomore. In college softball last night, Texas defeated Texas Tech 2-1. They will play Game 2 tonight in Oklahoma City. If the Longhorns win, they'll claim their first Women's College World Series title. If the Red Raiders can pull off a victory, Game 3 will be tomorrow. It's Game 1 of the NBA Finals tonight from Oklahoma City. The Thunder are at home and are 9.5-point favorites over the visiting Indiana Pacers. At the French Open, Coco Gauff defeated Lois Boysen in straight sets earlier today to punch her ticket to the final, where she will take on Aryna Sabalenka, who knocked off Iga Swiatek in a 3-set match just before Coco took to the court on Philippe Chantrier. That will be a 9 o'clock start on Saturday morning. Both ladies, despite being major champions, are looking for their first French Open title. That'll do it for 94.3 The Game Sports Flash Update and Pirate Report. Can take a time out on the Patrick Johnson Show. Have a fun segment where we play Hold My Beer and have a little story time with Mark Miller.
Hey, it's Jim Wells again with Wells Roofing and Gutters here in the beautiful community of Lindale, Bedford. At Wells Roofing and Gutters, we believe in quality first, and that's why we use CertainTeed shingles, which are manufactured in Oxford, North Carolina, a local company. In the event you ever do have a claim or a problem with your roof system, they're local and they come and take care of us in a timely manner. We could leave off some accessories and we could certainly save money, but we believe at Wells Roofing and Gutters in installing the correct way per manufacturer requirements, and we warranty your roof both in-house and also with our supplier, who is CertainTeed. For a job Wells done, no shortcuts taken, and a good quality job on your home, give us a call today, 252-227-8403. We also offer financing, 12 months, no interest, no payments.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked to order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's.
Do you have something you need to get off your chest? Get off your chest.
I am not here for rage. I'm here for revenge.
Did your favorite team blow another game?
They are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Or is there just something that's driving you crazy?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore.
It's time to let it all out.
You have made me very angry. Very angry indeed.
With another edition of Hold My Beer.
Hold my beer.
Well, you know the rules by now. It's kind of what grinds my gears segment. And Mark Miller was going to be on with us promoting the Concert for the Common, or Concert on the Common. Could be the Concert for the Common. Concert on the Common, which has been postponed today because of this nasty weather. And you know the rules. If you are booked on the show, you still got to come on the show. So that's why we got Miller here today. We'll hold my beer with Pilk and myself, and Miller's got some story time with Uncle Mark here.
Oh, yeah.
Is today your wedding anniversary?
Today
or like
is my
a
wedding
dating
anniversary. Yes, it's my wedding anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
20-year
20
wedding
years?
anniversary with the love of my
20
life.
years,
Yeah,
huh?
man. That's crazy, isn't it?
Credit to Susan for putting up with you for 20 years.
That is,
really
I
proud
am
of her.
a very, very lucky man.
How long did you date before?
We dated for a while. We
Okay.
met at Pitt, at University of Pittsburgh, and then we started our careers and we did like a long distance thing for like a couple years. And we kind of knew, like after a couple years of dating, we knew it was going to happen. We just wanted to start things off, and then we met back up, got married 20 years later, 2 kids later. We're doing pretty good.
Wow.
But thank you very much.
How about that? Good for you, buddy. Good for you. And thank you for coming on today, despite the Concert on the Common being postponed to next Thursday with
Yes.
Landslide, the ultimate Fleetwood Mac tribute act.
Right. Same band, same great vibe, better
Same
weather.
time,
Yes.
6 o'clock.
Yes.
Got you. All right. I'm going to take a sip. A little under the weather, Miller. I'm playing hurt.
Okay. All right. We'll lift you up.
Yeah, I don't get no credit for playing hurt, but I'm playing hurt. And look, I'm not here to invoke sympathy. I'm just like the rest of the folks out there in Radio Land. I put the britches on one leg at a time. I'm just that's all I am. It's just as John Lennon said, a working class hero. That's me.
That's
baby. All right.
what we all think of you as. That's correct.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm positive it is. All right. Let's see here. You know the rules. It's hold my beer. You say that before. What grinds my gears? Pilk, do you go first here? Do we let Miller go first? Miller's a tough act to follow.
I know. Yeah,
Not gonna lie. Miller's
say
a
we
tough
save the
act to
best till
follow.
last. He's always got something like creative, and ours are just kind of bland.
I know. Miller's too good. So I say you go first here, Pilk.
All right.
All right, I'm going to go first. Hold my beer. The people that scroll through their phone and have to have the volume all the way up in public.
Oh.
I was at the Bird Dogs game last night, and there was an older gentleman behind us. He was a nice guy, vet. It was Military Appreciation Night, so thank you to this gentleman for serving our country, even though he was wearing a Yankees hat. But
Wow.
he was like in the sixth
He'll
inning.
covered a lot of bases here.
That's a lot there,
yeah. Pilk's covered a lot of bases. A lot to unpack
You know,
here.
and I understand his hearing's probably, about like big hens, and he can't hear.
Or mine or Mark's.
Yeah.
Right.
But he's like scrolling through his phone, and he's sitting like this stadium there's plenty of room to spread out. He's sat right behind Thomas and myself, and he's like scrolling through, and we hear the first 2 seconds of every video on like Facebook Reels.
Oh.
We're like, dude, just like
Hit the
I
little
get your-
volume thingy. It's right there. Just
I
hit
know.
it.
Or put your earbuds in. Get some earbuds and put them in.
I know. I think that's the thing. Like the older generation forgets that like the volume can go up and down. They get it where it's set, and then they just forget. So, and I'm not picking on old people. I've seen plenty of young people do it. Trust me. I've been on a train where somebody was like listening to music out loud on their phone. It was
that's
vulgar music, and this
obnoxious.
was a younger person. So listen, it's not only old people. I'm not picking on old people. The people who are scrolling through or playing on their phone in public, and they've got the volume through the roof.
Yeah, it sucks.
Hold my
That
beer.
definitely sucks. Good stuff.
All right.
That's
Thank
good. That's a good. That's a good solid opening. I've got another one of life's idiosyncrasies as mine. But when you say Thomas, was that who's Thomas? Your friend? Who is that? Do we know
my
Thomas?
roommate. I don't think you guys do. It's one
Okay.
of my few
It's not
friends
the award-winning-
I think that's have never worked here or worked for ECU.
Okay, not the award-winning Thomas Weibrecht, who used to work here. All right.
I remember Thomas. That's a good deal.
Yeah, the award-winning Thomas Weibrecht. All right, hold my beer. And look, I've been on this crusade for a while, and I got some local fare last night, takeout here at the Working Man's Beach, and it was they put a lot of forks for some reason in my order. It was like an overabundance of forks when compared to the order. This is a local place. But I go up in order after waiting in line, and, the nature of the place is you order, you sit, maybe they bring something out, but you're not being waited on per se.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I'm getting takeout, so I'm clearly not being waited on beyond that. But it's this mofo tipping stuff. It gets me.
Yep.
So she swings it around. And I have to admit I caved. Because it's one of those deals. It's not really an open area. You're ordering in a window. So they might hock tua in your food. You don't ever know. They might hock a loogie in your food. That could happen.
Let's stick with the loogie one on that.
Yes. And it hit my mind like, okay, but I mean, I froze because it hadn't happened in a while. And when it has happened, I've been on the crusade now for months where I go, no tip. No tip for you.
Was this after you got your food?
No, this was ordering it and then going to wait.
See, it's tough because, you used to tip based on service, right?
On service.
So if you tip before the service, but
and the service is lousy. And imagine had they not given me 45 sporks. I'd have felt shortchanged.
You should pay for some of those, man.
I should pay. That's what the tip was. Paying for the 45 sporks that they gave me. I actually used it to stir coffee this morning.
Well, there you go.
That way you don't. Yeah.
There you go.
So it's
there you go.
interesting
You don't dirty
you
a
brought
dish.
this up, Patrick. So my family and I went to this place on Memorial Day, and this is totally on topic. And we were sitting at the bar having a beer, and we were talking to this bartender. So my mom asked, because she's on the same gripe you're on. If I got to stand up to order, should we tip? And the girl said, "Look,
right, I have just so Miller knows, I have a very my new policy is if I have to stand up to order, or at the drive-through coffee place here in Greenville that I'll go to, they're not a sponsor, so they're unnamed. I've quit tipping there.
Yeah,
because you got to wait in line forever. Number one, in the car, you're in your car, but still, you wait forever. And I mean, what am I tipping for? Because my order is very simple.
Yeah,
I feel like
hot
the
cup of
drive-through.
Joe.
Yeah,
Hot
I don't
cup
think
of
you
Joe.
tip at a drive-through.
No,
I just don't think you do.
So my mom asked this girl, like straight up, and the girl said, "Look, you should tip based on service." She said that she has worked takeout. She has worked, she's like, "Look, the cooks are doing all the work, and the cooks aren't seeing any of the tips."
Right.
She
right.
goes,
That's a big call. That's a big point.
Yeah. She said you should tip based off your service, and she said the other thing is if you go to a bar, like a bar, like a club type thing, she said she doesn't even tip 20% because all she orders is like canned beer. She's like, she orders Mick Ultras, and all they have to do is hand her the beer. She goes, if I order mixed drinks and the person has to work and mix it, she said she'll go to 20 or even 25%. But she says, if you're going to name local club downtown and all you get is a beer, canned beer, she said that's just a couple bucks. And she said she's worked in the service industry her whole life.
I saw a reel from a show on Vice that's about bartending, I guess. And the bartender said you should tip $1 on beer and $2 on a mixed drink minimum.
I feel like you should tip a little something on. I want to tip a bartender, especially because I'll be back.
Yeah.
And I want to, I want to make sure that, that we're taking care of each other.
Yeah.
I understand that. And if they're mixing you a drink or if you're relying on their service, but just to give them $1 a beer? What if it's 99-cent beer night? What if it's penny draft like in the Elbow Room back in the day?
There ain't no more drinking with Lincoln, buddy.
Man, that ain't happening.
Drinking
All right.
the Lincoln.
We got to get
there's
Miller's
drinking
story.
the Lincoln at minimum. All right.
Yeah.
We got a
need to
Miller
get to his
story,
hold
but
my,
we have
no,
a
we
hold
get his
my
hold
bill.
my beer
Yes.
first. All right.
Right, hold my beer, then we have a Miller story.
My hold my beer, I got 3, and they're quick. Number 1, hold my beer. College baseball coaches that swear at everybody and everything in their path like they're some type of maniac.
Yeah.
What was the second one? Oh, yeah, rain, because hold my beer, rain, because our concert on the Common is not happening tonight, but it will happen next Thursday night. Same band, Landslide, Fleetwood Mac tribute.
You shouldn't be upset. Now you get to spend your anniversary with your wife instead of working.
She's working. See, we were gonna take vacation this month. A while back, she moved her time to this week so we could take vacation, and now we're not taking the vacation, so she still has to work tonight, and I was gonna have to work too. And we'll figure it out. Hold my beer, me. I did something really stupid. And I did a lot of things really stupid. This weekend at regionals, Conway, we had an amazing time at the baseball games and cheering on ECU, and we're so proud of ECU. 2 weeks ago, we had no clue that anything close to any of this was going to happen, right? 2.5 weeks ago. What a ride. But we had some downtime, and we went to the beach. It was great. We went to North Myrtle. And I have an expensive pair of sunglasses. I never bought expensive sunglasses before. I always break sunglasses. I finally said, you know what? Let me get a nice pair of sunglasses. For about a year, everything's been fine. They've been really good. I never take them down to the beach. I take some gross, cheap sunglasses because I'll probably run into the water with them and break them. No, I have my good sunglasses with me. And at one point, I'm sitting there in the sand, and I answer a text. I think my wife texted me. And I go to it, and I answer the text. And I take my glasses off my eyes and put them up on top of my hat. I then proceed to forget that I have my glasses on top of my hat. And then when it's time to go in the water, I run in the water. And, the waves are knocking us around. And goodbye glasses. And that's it. My sunglasses that were really expensive are really gone. And I'm holding my beer from myself or for myself or whatever you would say because it really ticked me off. I'm still taking.
Let me ask you.
Almost a week later.
Let me ask you something.
Yes.
Are these prescription? You might have said this. Are these prescription sunglasses?
No.
We're of the age now, Miller.
Yeah, but my prescription's not too bad. So I don't necessarily the sunglasses. I don't need them.
But they still were expensive.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. You have another story from the regional. You have another story from the regional you want to tell.
A more positive story.
This is better. This is a more positive story. In light of
I can't wait to hear this.
The Florida coach who shall not be named because I don't even want to mess around with that dude. What really got me was that he was yelling at the staff, the Coastal Carolina staff, right? And it was different staff than I'm about to tell you the story about. I guess the interaction that we had. My son, my youngest Wesley, got hit by a home run ball in his foot. This was middle of the game. Yeah. Okay. So it's kind of hard to describe, but where we were with the megaphones, left center field, it goes right in the front there is where we were with the megaphones. And then there's a big walkway. And he wanted to sit down. He had been jumping around and everything. He wanted to sit down for a minute. So he goes to sit down. And it was that dude, Sebastian, whatever his name is, the left fielder. He cranked one. I mean, straight towards Wesley. Wesley's jumping up to get out of the way, and he kind of got out of the way, except the home run ball smacked his foot. Now, he's wearing a shoe, but you know what? He's a 12-year-old who got smacked in the foot by a home run ball. That thing hurts. And he was trying to play it off like, I'm okay. Everybody's coming up asking him if he's okay. He's okay. Then comes up to me 2 minutes later. He's like, Dad, I'm not okay. I was like, okay, let's just... When something happens, like if you're on a baseball team, let's walk for a little bit. Walk down the line.
Walk it off.
Let's see how it feels. It still hurts after walking for a little bit. So first place we find is the little lemonade cart thing, and it's got 2 people working it, and there's some ice there. And I say, listen, my son just got hit by that home run ball. Can we have a bag of ice or something? They didn't have a bag, but man, they sprung into action. These people were so amazing. And they cared for him so much. And they had some plastic that they fashioned into a bag. They put some ice in it. They taped it to his foot. They sat with him. I had to go to the bathroom. I ran to the bathroom. When I came back, there was 3 of them there telling him jokes. They gave him a special chair so he could sit and see above everybody else and see the game. And it was just a beautiful display of they kind of dropped what they were doing just to show their concern for my son, who was wearing an ECU shirt. Not that it would have mattered, right?
Right.
But then I hear that this Florida coach is cursing out the staff. The next day, we were still playing ECU, obviously. That was on Sunday. The next day, they were still playing. We found each of the people who helped him out throughout the stadium, and we were able to thank him personally. And I
awesome.
have a wonderful story of how the staff at Coastal Carolina was awesome for us. And I wanted to get that out there because you heard some negative stuff spewed at the Coastal Carolina staff, and I think that was just ridiculous.
Everybody said it was good. By the way, I'm gonna put something again. Well, let me. Did he break his foot? That's the question.
No, he did not. That's another thing. It was red. It was swollen. He was better the next day. It was just a good thing he had his shoe on.
Yeah.
I guess
a lot of small bones in the foot.
A lot of small bones. Yeah, all of his small bones are doing great.
All right. So we want to wish the best to ESPN SportsCenter anchor Jay Harris. He announced earlier today that he's battling prostate cancer. Did it on Good Morning America. So ABC News, which is Disney's the parent of ABC and ESPN. This is the ABC News post from this morning. They put O.J. Simpson's picture.
No.
For some reason on the Jay Harris thing.
Oh, no.
Jeez.
Because, there's a J in it? I
J-A-Y.
don't know.
They did Jay dirty.
Dude, are you serious? That's
a hold my beer. Somebody might have been drinking a beer.
Editing, and you pass it through to somebody to proof. I don't even know.
But you all work. Jay works for the same as ABC News.
Yeah.
It's one of their.
That's pretty terrible.
They're technically
that'd be like
counterparts.
That'd be like if we had the award-winning Mark Miller on and we put up a picture of Dylan McKay.
Yeah.
No, it'd have to be a different bald guy at least.
Thanks, Philip. He just made my hold my beer for next time.
Mark Miller is the best from the Morning Rush with Mark and Laura. The award-winning Mark Miller from 107.9 WNCT. Thank you, buddy, very much.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Our pleasure. Thank you, Miller. All right. Great to have Mark Miller with us in the studio. Great to have Daron Vaught join us today. Chris Hughes will be with us tomorrow as we'll talk the 8 classifications in high school athletics and what that means. Also catch up with him and have a lot more for you, all of that tomorrow on the Patrick Johnson Show. All right. Great to have our great guest. Pilk, thank you very much. Stay with our social media. We'll give you the very latest on any pirate-related news that may or may not break overnight.
Have a good weekend. Have fun with Dom tomorrow.
That's right. Your last day.
I'll blow kisses from
4-day
30,000
weekend.
feet. Yeah.
A 4-day weekend as you go to some exotic locale for yet another Tiffany weekend.
I will say this is an exotic wedding. This one you can make fun of me for. I'll take it. Supposedly this is a bougie wedding from what I've been told.
Oh, it's bougie.
Yeah.
It's bougie. Anything involving you and your travels is bougie. All right. Hey, have a great rest of your evening. Stay dry, and we'll catch you tomorrow and talk at the Townland, but also back here for the PJ Show to wrap up the week.